Hi, I'm Sylvia Paul and it's my open studio weekend. I've made a little video and I thought those of you that can't make it would like to have a look round. So you're really welcome and hope you enjoy it. Welcome to my home, which I've basically turned into a little gallery for the weekend. And this is the porch, so I've put some small collage pieces in there, which are all sorts of different subject matter, and it's a technique that I've been doing over the years using different papers and acrylic, and layered them. These are all quite small. This one's about 20 centimetres square, and these are even smaller. So little minis really, which I thought worked really well in our little porch, in the entrance to the house. And there we go. We're going to walk through. This is basically our lounge, which it's lovely because I've got a lovely picture rail in here so I can hang lots of work. And that's a chair which everybody's been looking at over the weekend, which I did the fabric, I did the applique on it and then had it upholstered, so they did a lovely job for me. Now again, in this little corner here, I've got some of my new small acrylic paintings, which I've been doing. That one, again, they're quite small, they're 15 by 15 centimetres, and using a palette knife and building up the layers. And I've really enjoyed doing these. It makes a change from the larger pieces, which are quite big, really. So occasionally I'll have a little session of working on some small ones. So it's quite good to swap around between the different sizes. Here's one that's a bit larger. This is 80 by 80 centimetres. And lately I've particularly enjoyed working on meadows and gardens and really building up the textures. You can see here, if I go in close, you can see the quite thick paint in areas, and it's a lovely subject for using colour and texture in this way. And there we go, that's at the bottom of the stairs. There's an autumnal one, and coming round, this one slightly more muted colours. It was a winter scene, and actually it's quite nice occasionally to have some softer colours. There we go, with some poppies in meadow ones. And that painting's, I think, 50 by 50 centimetres, or it might be 40 by 40, I think. Gives you a little idea of the scale. And the one below, again, I think I really like the blue. It was a really vibrant blue sky, as it is in this large one. This is one of my larger pieces. It's 120 centimetres wide by 100 centimetres high, and I love working on the big ones. It's so much scope for being very free and getting lots of lovely marks and textures with the palette knife and building it up. And this is quite unusual because I've used a lot of blue, obviously, in this, so it's quite a different one for me. But I think it's, I was really pleased with it, and it's different. It's nice to do something a little bit different. And again, still on the sort of garden theme here. This one, I quite like that splash of yellow and orange and red in the corner of the daylilies against the sort of cooler background with the trees there. I find that I love working with colour and getting all the lovely contrasts of colour in the painting, and just gives you a little idea of the house as well. We've got this lovely place now, we've only been here since December this year, so last year 2020. So it's lovely to have much more space to hang the work and you'll see my studio space in a little while. In a minute I'll walk through and show you the rest of the ground floor. So here again, I've in this room I've put mostly the oils. Here we go, walking through. We've got this lovely hallway here, and there's a couple in the hallway. That's I've called that one Sunrise Spectacular, and we're very lucky here in Dovercourt. We're very close to the beach, and if you get up early enough, you can often get these wonderful sunrises over the water, and and that's literally just across the way from me. One very early morning. And a still life. I've done a lot of still life over the years, and again, it is just a way of bringing colour together and vibrancy and building up these layers. So that was one I did earlier this year with the spring in the spring. Now this is my storeroom. I'll just come round and you can see I had these shelves put in, and it's fantastic because, as you can see, over the years I've accumulated a lot of work. So it's great to have some space to store it all. There's some more collages that I've done at various times, and it's just lovely to have the space. You can just see a little view out there of our patio. So we've got a lovely spot just now, and I used the end of the shelves to put up some more of my small pieces. Now I've put some of the small pieces in my Folksy shop, so if you can't get along to Open Studios or you're not close enough to pop round, then you can have a look on Folksy, and there's some small pieces of work that you can purchase, as well as my books and my cards as well. So do have a look on there. Again, I loved building. Although they're very small, I'm still working with quite freely, building up the colours and enjoying the sort of textures of the paint. And now we're heading through. This is the room where I paint, my painting studio. You can see some of my cards there, which are available on Folksy. So do have a look. And I've got quite a selection. That's just our patio area there. So in here I've put all sorts of things up. That's again another sunrise down the beach here, which very lucky to have that. Well, if I get up early enough, which isn't always possible, and you can just glimpse out through the window. This is the garden, and I'll show you a bit more of that in a minute, which my husband Jeff's been working on past few months. And always have to have a comfy chair, which is, I call that my thinking chair. And this is probably the latest oil painting. The larger paintings, this one is 1 metre square. They're also, you can find all of this work, or most of this is on my website, but also I've got an online gallery called Singular, and you can look on there and find me. And I've had some lovely sales over the past year through Singular, going all over the world, and they deal with all the shipping. And it's, if for instance someone bought one and they weren't happy with it, it is free returns on that. So it's a very good way if you can't get to see the work in person, to be able to actually own a piece. Now here are some more collages. There's a still life, and I use all sorts of papers, and within the collage, sort of still life there. But most of them are done from my imagination. Occasionally I work from photos. The street scenes, generally from a photo, but I try to keep it a little bit abstract. It's not an exact copy. This is a landscape from my imagination. So, again, lots of colour. And what have we got here? Now, you'll see all around there's references to Japan. I've had a few visits to Japan. I've got a lovely daughter-in-law who comes from the country, and been able to visit. So I collect a lot of the papers there, and I've also been given lots of kimono fabrics, which I do use in my textile art. Now these are collage, and they're a little bit different because I've basically done kind of portraits. They're not anybody in particular, but then used lots of papers, and that one there is called The Thinker. So they're kind of characters. That's the city girl, and they're a really fun series to do, and hopefully I'll be able to do some more things like this. This is the green man who's looking a bit angry, very red in the face, and I've called this one Winter's Smile, that one above there. So they were great fun to do. I mean, I really believe that you try and have some fun, and if anyone's interested to see how I work with the collage or the oils, then you can see videos on my YouTube channel. This little, again, another sea view, and a fantastic rainbow that we had over the water one day. So, down the garden I've got the summer house, and I've got a little pop-up gallery in there with my textile art, and this is these are actually done with paper again. It's a bit like a collage, but I've stitched over it, and they're quite quirky little things which I've framed up. And then here, with this sort of Japanese influence and using some of the kimono fabrics, I've made these little, they're kind of geishas but quite abstract as well. And so I've got all sorts of bits and pieces here, quite small pieces, which some of them are on Folksy, which you can find online. And there they go. So different subject matter. Some of the fabric comes from a local town called Sudbury in Suffolk, where they have some silk weaving factories, and I often get remnants from there. So as well as the kimono fabrics, I'm using those silks. This was part of a series of work I did for an exhibition on the theme of wild with the group that I'm a member of, Art Textiles Made in Britain, and we did an exhibition at the Festival of Quilts on the theme of wild, and these were some sketches I did at Colchester Zoo, which I then incorporated in some textile pieces. I thought they looked a bit like cave paintings, so I've made these pieces that hopefully look a bit like slabs of rock. Now, coming right back, gosh, this is my largest piece that I've ever made. I did it earlier this year when we were all in lockdown, and it's my Phoenix rising up. I've called it Rise Up. And in this I've used pieces of kimono obi, which is the big cummerbund belt that they wear on their kimonos. So pieces of fabric from that, and also kimonos, but also some Indian sari silk fabric, which was part of a friend of mine had a lovely quilt made from sari fabrics, which unfortunately got damaged in a fire, and she gave me the pieces, and I've used it in part of this the Phoenix. Here are some more of the wild work. I've made some scrolls and books using the sketches, and that was a really fun project to do, a little bit different. These are a few pictures really, but all done with fabric and layered fabrics, a lot of them from the silk factory in Sudbury. And I've got a book called Bits and Pieces, which is all about my textile art, and in that I sort of talk about the process of how I do that. The books are all on Folksy as well. This one is obviously it's a Japanese street scene, and I've used paper and fabric in this. So, but I've stitched it all with the free motion machine stitching, and yeah, all sorts of bits of paper. So you can see a bit of a link with the collage and acrylic work that I do. There's one of a view of London, and they're quite fun to do. What are we looking at next? Oh, this is my lucky cat. Oh no, here we go. This is part of the London view. You can see I've used bits of old maps and all sorts of things in that. There's the lucky cat made from the kimono fabric. So, and here are some little screens using the Japanese fabric, and I really loved making those, something a bit different. And yeah, I always like to try new things, doing different things. So the textile work is often an experiment, really, and little bits and pieces. Again, they are in the shop, Folksy shop. So if you obviously some of you are all over the world, and it's lovely that I'm able to share like this with you some of my work. And if you are interested, then you do have a look at Folksy or Singular Art, and I've got my website where you can see a range of stuff, and look me up on YouTube, and you can see some of my videos.